You were driving down the highway, maybe trying to merge into traffic, and suddenly your foot goes to the floor, but the car just refuses to accelerate, almost like it is taking a deep breath it cannot quite finish. Next thing you know, that dreaded check engine light pops onto your dashboard. If you have plugged in a scanner and pulled up the code P022B, or Charge Air Cooler Bypass Control A Circuit Low, do not panic, but do not ignore it either, because this is your engine telling you it is struggling to breathe efficiently. This code pops up on vehicles with turbochargers or superchargers, basically anything with forced induction, like your Fords, Chevys, or Toyotas. These engines use something called an intercooler to chill the hot air coming from the turbo before it enters the engine, sort of like how a radiator cools your coolant, but this cools the air to make it denser for a better explosion in the cylinder. Now, the system has a bypass valve that lets air skip this cooler when it is not needed, and your engine computer controls this valve to balance performance and fuel economy. The code P022B means the computer is seeing a signal voltage from this valve that is lower than it expects, basically saying, hey, I'm trying to talk to this valve, but the connection is weak, or the feedback does not make sense. While the code says circuit low, hinting at an electrical issue, in my experience, I would lean heavily towards a mechanical problem first, like the valve actually being physically stuck, although wiring gremlins are always a possibility. This is a moderate severity issue. If you ignore it, you risk putting the car into limp mode, misfiring, or hurting your fuel mileage significantly. And we all know engine damage is expensive to fix. So, pop the hood and let us troubleshoot. First, locate the charge pipes going to your intercooler. The valve is usually mounted right there on the piping. Make sure the engine is cool and off. Look for cracks, loose hoses, or physical damage. If you can, take the valve off and see if it moves freely. Clean it up if it looks gunked up with carbon or oil. Also, trace the wiring harness coming from it. Since these are often near the front bumper or fender, they get exposed to rain and road debris, so look for corroded wires or broken clips. If you have a fancy scan tool, you can actually command the valve to open and close while you watch it. If it sticks, replace it. If it moves fine, grab your multimeter and check for continuity in the wires back to the computer. It's usually a stuck valve or a bad wire, so start simple before you start throwing parts at it.